Hi everybody, and welcome to Google Analytics 101. Today we'll be covering quite a bit. So we'll first start off with how you create a Google Analytics account. Then we'll move on to how to check that it's installed correctly and some of the common errors that people make when installing the Google Analytics code. Then we'll move on and look at how you navigate around the Google Analytics interface. And then I think probably the most insightful part is deep diving into what you can actually get from the Google Analytics platform and what data you can extract to use to improve your business. So to set up a Google Analytics account, you just go to analytics.google.com. It will require a Gmail account to sign up. So if you don't already have a Gmail, please just create one for free at gmail.com. Once you set up your username, password, it will bring you to a screen which will show you your tracking code. Now, if you're not very technical like me, this will probably baffle you. So my advice for the non-techies out there would be to reach out to a web developer and they can install the tracking code for you. But if you're using a platform like WordPress, it is extremely easy to actually install the code using a simple plugin. I'm not going to go through that in this demonstration because some of you might not have WordPress as a CMS. But if you Google how to install Google Analytics with WordPress, it'll show you 50, 100 tutorials on how to do it, and it's quite straightforward, step by step. If you need to access your tracking code after a certain time, so for instance, if you create an account today, you don't revisit until 30 days later, all you need to do is you need to log into Google Analytics. You need to go to your admin section, come across here to under property and click tracking code. And this is your tracking code here. So all you need to do is copy that and send it across to your developer and they can install it on your website. Now, some of the common tracking issues that I see with Google Analytics is some companies install it twice. Some companies miss out a line of code, or some websites, they just set it up wrong. A good way to find out whether it's installed correctly or not is to use a Google Chrome plugin called Ghostery, which you can see up here. So to install Ghostery, you go to your Chrome extensions and you can search for Ghostery, and then you can activate from this setting here. So what Ghostery does is you can load your website in a browser and you can click on your Ghostery tool here, and then you can see exactly what tracking codes are installed on your website. So this is my website here. So if I click on Ghostery, it will tell me that I have 2 Facebook pixels on my site, which is where I track customers coming from Facebook to my site. I have Tag Manager, which is an easy tool that allows you to input code on your website. So your Google Analytics code will sit in your Tag Manager. And then I have Google Analytics, which is firing correctly on my website as well. So that's just a good tool to have in as well. Not just checking your own site for different tags. If you have competitors and they're utilizing different advertising platforms, it's good to go on their site and to be able to see what they're actually tracking and whether they are as informed and as data-driven as they say they are. So that's just a good tool to download and to install. Moving back to Google Analytics, some of the most common issues that I see when people install tracking codes is that the bounce rate of all your pages will be 0. Now I'll cover bounce rate in more detail later on in this video. But essentially what bounce rate is when somebody comes to your website, if they leave your website within the first 30 seconds, that is distinguished as a bounce. So if you have 5 people coming to your website and 5 people leave the site within 30 seconds, then your bounce rate will be 100%. If you're getting over 100 visits a day and your bounce rate is 0, then you have a problem. So there's something wrong with your tracking code. So what you would do then is you'd speak to your developer and make sure this code hasn't been installed incorrectly or installed twice on your pages, because usually what I see in a range of industries, the average bounce rate is about 20-30%. So out of 10 users, 2 or 3 people bounce straight off the site. And that's quite common. There's a lot of bots out there and people coming to your site that probably aren't clicking on the right link, and they will bounce off if they don't find what they're looking for. So that kind of covers off installing Google Analytics and the common issues that I generally see. But if you work with a good developer or you are tech savvy, you should have no issue in setting this up. Now I will move on to the main interface of Google Analytics, and I'll show you some ways to navigate around and what the different sections mean. Now this is the Google Analytics account for my own website, so I'm okay to share this data. Obviously, if it was a client's data, I would not share it on a lesson like this. So up in the top right, you have your date range. So usually what I like to do is I like to look at yesterday's performance, and then I might say, well, I want to see how did yesterday's traffic compare against last week's traffic. So there's a good little comparison tool here that you can use. So I want to look at all of my data from May the 30th, and I want to compare it with data from a week ago, May the 23rd. So I just click apply. And then I can see that, my traffic is up 207%, which is great. Sessions up 193%. And I'll go through the definition of all these in due course. If you're just starting out with Google Analytics, the most that you will need for now, I think, will be this date range selector. Obviously, you will see the different reports on the left here, which we'll go through, but with regards to, so in the advanced segments tab, this is for quite heavy users of Google Analytics. So you can look at the behaviors of users who have come to your site via paid or organic, for instance, or you can see how people who converted on your website, who signed up to your product or service or made a purchase, how they behave versus the behavior of non-converters, for instance. But this is a more advanced section, and it's something that heavy users of Google Analytics would definitely use, and this would be potentially a video and a tutorial in its own right. But for now, we'll skip that. So moving on to the tabs on the left. So this is where you will get the most of your insight from. I'll start off with real time, and for this tutorial, I will show you exactly what I would look at from a data and insight perspective. I've worked in the performance marketing and PPC area for 11 years now, and I've kind of come across 5 or 6 different reports or different sections of Google Analytics that I frequently look into, and I think it's quite insightful for anyone who's driving traffic to the website to do so too. So the first report is real-time report. So if you click real-time and go to traffic sources, so this will show you exactly how many people are on your website at the moment. So for now, I have 0 people on my website. What it will do is, if you have 10 people, it will show a figure of 10 here. It will tell you what channels those people came from. So if you have a PPC campaign and you have 5 from PPC, it will say Google CPC, 5 people. It's a good way to see in real time who is on your website and what they are engaging with. And then on the content tab, it will show you a list of the pages that those people are viewing. So it might be your basket page or your checkout page, or it might just be your home page. And this is a good quick report to see what users are doing in real time on your website and whether they are having any issues whatsoever. So the second report is the audience report. Now you can go down a massive black hole in the audience report here because there is so much data. There is demographic data, there is interest data, geographical data shows where users come from, the cities, the languages, the metro regions, everywhere. So if you click on the location reports, it tells you what country they've came from, and you can, like I said, dig right down to see where these people are actually searching from. And it's quite a good report if you're a local business, because if you're based in Manchester and you're providing gardening services and you're receiving lots of traffic and no conversions, and you go to this report and you see that the majority of your traffic is coming from Illinois in the US, then you have a problem with your media. So this is a good report just to kind of keep an eye on things. You can look at behavior, so you can look at new versus returning users, which is also quite a good report. So brand loyalty is quite big these days. So when somebody comes to your site, you want them to perform a specific action, sign up to your service or download a brochure or purchase a product. So it's good to see that you have a lot of returning visitors, because people come to your website and then they'll want to come back for more, or they'll have forgotten something, or maybe they weren't ready to sign up the first time, then they'll come back and sign up the second time. So it's just a good report to see the split between new visitors and returning users here. One other report that I find very interesting is your mobile report. So what this will tell you is what percentage of visitors visited your site from mobile, desktop, and tablet. Now this ties back to the media that you're buying as well and your product or service. So if you have a mobile optimized website and you can convert well on mobile and your mobile traffic is very high, then that's fantastic. But if your experience is more suited towards desktop and you want to target desktop users, then this is a good report to say, well, actually, I'm getting 67% of visitors on mobile here, but on desktop, I'm only getting 30%. So I need to more aggressively target people on desktop instead of mobile. And as you can see here, if you go over to see how many people have downloaded my ebook, I have more people who have downloaded on mobile. But if you look at my conversion rate on desktop and tablet, it's much better than mobile. So I will go back now and I will look at my media spend and I will adjust it to target more users on desktop. And I think now is probably a good point to go through what all of this means up here. Maybe I should have done this at the start, but I think I skipped over it. So the users count is how many unique users visited your website. So I am one user, you are another user. This is an individual hit of the website. If I go to a website 5 times in one day, my user count will be 1. It won't be 5. That's where sessions come in. So if I visited a website 5 times in one day, this count would say 5 for me instead of 1. A lot of the reporting that I do, I focus on users because it's a true reflection of how many individuals have visited your website. Again, you can look at your amount of new users here and bounce rate, which we discussed earlier, which shows the percentage of people who visited your website and left within 30 seconds. Now, it depends on what kind of website you have. If you have a one-page website, which is just one landing page, you will probably have a high bounce rate like I do here, because people will instantly visit your website. They will be able to see exactly what your website and content is about, and they will make a decision instantly on whether that is the right information for them or not. So users will either sign up and download my ebook, or they will leave because they are not sure why they ended up here, they might have clicked an ad that was wrongly targeted at them, and they don't actually want to download an ebook about PPC. If you are an e-commerce business with lots of products and you have a bounce rate of 75%, 76% is very high, so you need to revisit your targeting in your adverts and your paid media channels to rectify the high bounce rate. Then we move on to how many pages people visited per session and the average time a user has spent on your website. These are good metrics that you should look at on your website to see if you can improve. Obviously, you will be focusing more on sales and signups, but if you want to grow your business, you want to create more engaging content, you want to keep the visitor on site, you want to improve your marketing, targeting relevant people, then these are just good soft metrics to look at. And then over here, I have one of my goals set up. Now I'll speak about goals in a different section when we come on to conversions. But essentially what a goal is you tell Google Analytics that when somebody visits the checkout success page, that is counted as a goal. So you want to see anytime an individual visits that page, you want Google to say, yes, that person has been successful. And you can tie these goals back to channels, keywords, devices, and it's a good way to optimize your paid media spend and to see where your successes are coming from and where the failures and the gaps are in your marketing. I only have one goal set up here, which is to download my ebook, but you can set up several goals if you have several different macro and micro conversions on your website. To be honest, that's mainly what I use the audience tab for. There is so much information about your users on the audience tab that you could spend days, weeks, months exploring, and what works for you and what brings value to your business will be different than what brings value to mine and my clients. But I think that if you stick to those maybe 3 or 4 reports that I showed you, you will find detailed information that will help you improve your marketing and your performance. Now we move on to probably the most used report that I use for myself and my clients, which is the acquisition report. So what the acquisition report does is it tells you all of the data you need to know, and it splits it by marketing channel. So if you're running advertising campaigns on Google, Bing, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, if you're doing SEO work, if you're running a massive outdoor campaign or a radio campaign and you want to see direct traffic coming to your website, here is the place to go. So I usually click into all traffic and I look at the channel report, which tells me at a top level where the majority of my visits and conversions are coming from. So as you can see here, I'm quite a heavy advertiser on social media, so the majority is coming from social media here. And then you can break down the different channels of where my marketing activity is coming from. If you want to go one step deeper and you want to see whether social is made up of just Facebook or Facebook and Instagram, or if paid search is predominantly Google or you're getting some Bing as well, I usually go to the source medium report. And this shows me exactly where my visits are coming from. So Google CPC is the pay-per-click campaign that I've set up. Instagram, some organic visits, which is good because it's free. If I did any email marketing, email would be in here as well. So this is a good snapshot to see what's proven successful for your business and what you should be doing more of and what you should be doing less of, really. And then you can see again that my download ebook goals are in this column. So I can see here that, Instagram converting very well for me. Maybe I should be doing more of that. Google cost per click isn't really converting too well. So I need to revisit that and see whether I am bidding on the right keywords and whether my costs are extremely high versus the conversions that I am getting. Now, if you are running a Google Ads paid campaign, there's a nice tab here. If you just click into, so you can see your keywords and your search queries. So I'm running 2 campaigns at the moment to download my ebook, which you can see here. If you go to keywords, you can see what keywords people searched to get to my site. So PPC, Google Ad Services, AdWords, what your cost is, and your cost per click. Now, at this stage, if you are running a Google Ads account and Google Ads campaign, you should link your Google Ads account to your Google Analytics account so you can share data in between those 2 accounts. If you don't link the accounts, then the data will not show up as Google CPC within the Google Analytics platform. It will show up as direct traffic. Again, this is an extremely easy thing to do. If you can just Google link Google Ads and Google Analytics account, it's basically 1 or 2 clicks to do that. I won't specifically go through that now because I have my Ads and Analytics account linked already, and some of you won't have a Google Ads account already, so it might fall on deaf ears for now, and I want to focus on the power of Google Analytics rather than just setting up a Google Ads account. So that's acquisition, where performance marketers spend most of their time in Google Analytics. Moving on to the behavior tab. Now this tab is extremely important for brand marketers, people who do UX and conversion optimization. It basically shows the actions that a user takes on the website, what pages they visit, sequentially where they go after they hit the home page, what are the drop-off pages. There's some site speed stuff in here which I don't generally use. If I want to look at site speed, I usually use Page Speed Insights by Google. If you just Google that, you can plug in your website and it will tell you how fast that your website loads. But the reports I mainly use in here would be site content, and then I either use the all pages or landing pages report. So we'll click into all pages. So this shows you the count of every page that was viewed on your website. So it shows you unique page views, it shows you the total page views, average time on page, and the exit rate, which is, this is a column that is very informative because it shows you what pages people are dropping off most consistently from. And it might flag up issues or problems that you have with those pages. The page might not render properly on mobile, or users might not feel that they're getting the information that they need when they hit that page. So this is a good column to look at just to see whether you have issues with your website. Now, you can use a secondary dimension here, which previously stated it's kind of like advanced segments, but it just digs a bit deeper into the report that you have open in front of you. So you can add a secondary dimension for a lot of things really, but the most common one that I use is device category. So this breaks down and shows you the page performance per device. And if you look at the exit percentage on a page by device, it will give you more information than looking at it from a total level. So if you look here, my ebook page, exit rate's only 59% on desktop, but 81% on mobile. So I need to go back and look at my mobile experience for that specific page. So it just gives you a flavor of the overall performance of the pages. Now, another quick report while we're in here is the navigation summary report. This report is insightful when you're mapping out user journeys. So if you have somebody landing on your homepage and you have 50 products on your homepage and 20 categories, for instance, you want to see where that user goes from the homepage. What are the main pages that they visit afterwards, after that homepage? Is it a category page? Is it a product page? If you have a big banner at the top of your website with your main product in there, are people actually clicking on that, or are they ignoring it? And this is a good report to be able to identify what people are really interested in when they visit your website. If you're an e-commerce business, this is extremely important for the basket page. So you can select the page that you want to see more information for. So in your case, this might be the basket page. Then you can see the page that people have been on previously and the page that people go to next in the next step. So for my ebook page, my book a consultation page is the natural next step for somebody when they download the ebook, because I want to get them to book in a call with me. But a lot of people actually bounce back to that page once they've downloaded the ebook, so they press the back button, which isn't really great for me. So I need to find a way to keep people more engaged on this page when I get them there. And it's the same with the basket page. If somebody visits your basket page and then they go back and view the product again, is there anything on the basket page that you can display or you can present to the customer so they will proceed and purchase your product? And that's something that this report can identify for you. I also look at the landing page report, which is it's insightful if you are running different marketing campaigns on different platforms. So if you have a lot of SEO traffic, so organic or free traffic, the landing page report would be key for you, because you want to find out what are the pages that people are finding more frequently in the Google search results, and when they get to your site from organic, what pages are they seeing and what are they being displayed on those pages. So it has all of the same kind of metrics in here, and you can dig down to see what your most successful landing pages are. So the all pages section is, someone might have landed on the home page, but then a lot of them will kind of filter to my ebook page, whereas landing pages is what is the first page that people see on your website. So you have other sections here. Site searches, it's good if you have a search bar on your website. You can see what people searched and what the conversion rate was from search. So if you're running a large computer store, for instance, and you have a search bar and 90% of people are searching for Apple AirPods and they converted 6%, then you know on your homepage you should really surface Apple AirPods as a main banner, so people can get to that page straight away rather than having to search, because you will get people who will drop off if they're not served the right content at the right time. Then events is for more expert users of Google Analytics. So you can set up event tracking on your website where you can track if somebody clicks on a button or somebody watches a video or somebody downloads a PDF. A lot of this can be done with goals, but event tracking is something that you can apply to different elements of your website. So for instance, if you have a lead gen website and you want somebody to sign up, when somebody signs up, they click the button, but the page URL doesn't change, and you want to measure how many people click that button, then you would put event tracking around that button. If you're going to implement this, then I suggest speaking to your web developer on how to do this, because they'll easily just wrap the button in some JavaScript. Okay, so moving on to the conversions tab. Now, as we discussed before, on my website, I've set up a goal to tell Google that when somebody downloads my ebook, I want them to to say, yes, that has been a successful visit, and to count it as a goal. So for other websites, a transaction would be a goal. You could also have micro goals, which would be if somebody signs up for your email newsletter, that could be counted as a goal. And you can toggle between your goals here. You can select all goals or whichever goals that you wanted to see. So to set up a goal, you go to your admin tab. Then you go into goals over here. And you can create a new goal. So, for instance, if I want to set up a goal for people who visited my ebook page, for instance, I would go to a custom goal. I would type in visited ebook page, and then I want to fire this goal when people visit a specific URL. So I would click destination here, and then I'd click continue. So here I need to put in the specific URL for that goal, which is /ebook/. So you don't have to put in your specific website full URL here to capture that goal. Then I can verify this goal to make sure that it's actually a page that has been visited in the past 7 days. And as you can see here, that I would have a 53% conversion rate on that goal in the past 7 days. So I know that that is a specific goal. So then all I would do is I'd save that as a goal in my Google Analytics account, and then that would appear alongside my download ebook goal. But I don't want to do that because it is not a specific goal for me. So looking back in the conversions tab, you can see a lot of this data in other tabs. But if you have an e-commerce site, or if you have a large website, then you probably will spend more time in this tab. You've probably all heard of attribution modeling, data-driven attribution, assisted conversions. So you can find this under multi-channel funnels. You can go to assisted conversions. So you can, once you set up a goal, you can see what channel was the cause of that goal. But you can also see that if somebody visited your website via Facebook 7 days ago, then they came back 3 days ago via organic search, and they came back today via a direct URL input. You can see all the different channels that contributed to that sale. So this is good to see the different paths and the different journeys that the different channels have played within your conversion path. So if you go to top conversion paths, you will usually see more in-depth data here. So it could be organic direct, or it could be PPC, PPC, organic, dependent on your different channels and the marketing that you do. Apart from that, the conversions tab is, there's nothing really else there that's too insightful. You could do some funnel visualization where you could set up a funnel. Again, if you had an e-commerce website, your funnel would be the basket page, the personal details page, the delivery details page, and then the success page. So you could set up a funnel and you could view the percentage of dropouts in that funnel and where people are specifically dropping out. If you want to see that data, you would set that up in, if you go back to the admin tab, when you're setting up the goal, it gives you the option of putting in different steps to reach that goal, so you can visualize that funnel, it's a good way to see any pain points that you have. But again, this data can be found in the behavior tab, behavior, site content, all pages, and you can look at the exit rate on any specific page. So usually within analytics, there's 10 different ways to find the same data points. you can get overrun with data. You can go too deep with the data, which is weird coming from a performance marketer. But I think the years of experience have taught me that, you can look at granular data, you can look at top level data, but you need to match that up with overall business performance data to come out with anything very insightful. I could get 500 downloads of my ebook, which might look great, but I mightn't get any clients off the back of it, which wouldn't be good. So I could be kind of fooling myself thinking that I'm doing a good job when I'm not really doing a great job. So I think that kind of wraps up this tutorial. I would advise anybody with a website to create a Google Analytics profile and to start tracking your data and insights. There are a lot more advanced things that you can do with advanced segments, with custom reporting. You can use Data Studio to visualize your data better and more effectively. And instead of digging into different reports on a daily basis, you can just have something emailed to you. You can use different tools to integrate data into Google Analytics. You can use a tool called Supermetrics that we use to dashboard data and to plug in data from Google Analytics and data from a different SaaS provider or a different source and match that data together for more intricate clients. But I think that if you set up your analytics right, you look at the basic reports and you start to optimize your marketing based on the figures that you are getting from Google Analytics, you will be 99% more effective and more advanced and knowledgeable than a lot of your competitors. And I think, again, using Ghostery, it's shocking to see the amount of websites that don't have Google Analytics set up on them. And I think that's it. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to Claire. And I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you.